is, in the late 20th century, there was an undisputed king of open-top touring. No, I'm not starring in a remake of Dallas or Heart to Heart, but I am looking at one of the most iconic Mercedes ever made. Hello and welcome to the R107 generation Mercedes SL. You join me today on a lovely drizzly summer's afternoon to look at this, what I find to be one of the most interesting and appealing classic Mercedes on the market today. Within reason, of course. It's a 1984 R107 generation 280 SL, and today we're going to have a look inside and out, get it out on the road, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I think of this particular model and the R107 generation of SL in general. So let's crack on before the rain starts again. Introduced in 1971, the R107 generation of SL hailed from a golden era of Mercedes manufacturing, a time when over-engineering was key and reliability was paramount. It had a real task ahead of it, taking over from the W113 legendary Pagoda generation of SL, but it's a task it accomplished with great success. Over 300,000 units were produced of SLs and SLCs, the hardtop coupe version of the R107. It was made all the way up until 1989, when it was beginning to look a little bit dated and the all-new R129 generation came in. But it was, at a time, the undisputed king, the benchmark for exactly what an open-top roadster should be. Inside is classic golden era Mercedes-Benz, over-engineered, good quality materials and a very high level of fit and finish. It's incredibly comfortable in here, and for front seat occupants there is a lot of room. These cars were available as both a two-seater and a four-seater setup, this car being the former, but in the rear you could get children in. It's more of a novelty than anything. There's really nowhere for your legs to go if you do have four seats. There's very little not to like in here. It's a good cabin, and this particular example has been very well preserved indeed. You had quite a few options when it came to speccing the engines on your R107, starting at a base litre 2.8 litre inline six and working right the way up to a 5.6 litre unit. Arguably the most popular of them all is the 500 SL 5 litre V8 unit, but the 3 litre inline 6 300 SL does have its own little following for those who prefer a 6-cylinder setup. Power started at around 182 brake horsepower for this, the base level 2.8 litre engine, and worked its way up to around 240 brake horsepower with the bigger V8s. Gearboxes, well, predominantly these cars were fitted with automatic transmissions, 3 or 4 speeds, but the earlier 6-cylinder base level cars were available with a 4 or 5 speed manual transmission, though these are few and far between. Overall, these are very good engines and will all translate into good fun on the road, whether you buy a 2.8 litre or a 5 litre V8. Now, the SL has something of a party piece, and that comes in terms of the roof. You can have it in 3 styles, really. We could have it as we are now, open top roadster. There is a removable hardtop, more on that later, or I could lift this up and get myself out a folding soft top. It really does add to the practicality of this car, but there is a downside, and it all comes back to that removable hardtop. You see, ask anyone who's ever owned an R107 before, and they will all complain about the exact same thing, getting that hardtop off and on the car. It is perhaps the heaviest thing known to man, and it is a really difficult task to get it off by yourself. You really need ideally 3, or you can get away with 2 people. It unlatches here, here and here, and then you have to lift it off and carry it back. I've actually left it back at the workshop today because it would be too impractical to carry around and take it off by myself. Now, a lot of people either leave these permanently off or on, depending on what they're looking for in the car. You do obviously have the backup soft top roof under there if you get caught out by the rain, which it looks like I might do today, but it's something to consider. So then, we've had a look inside and out of it. That means there's one thing left to do: get it out on the road. So, the roof is off. We've got a brief, I'd say 5-minute interlude before the rain kicks in. So let's have some fun with the 280 SL. Initial impressions of this car on the road? It's actually a lot better than I expected. A lot of people think this 280 is the baby SL. It's often referred to as the little one, obviously being the entry-level engine in the lineup. However, from where I'm sitting, that really isn't much of an issue. You've still got a lovely 6-cylinder setup to get you along the road in good order. there's a nice soundtrack, and you benefit from slightly better economy. Obviously, there is an appeal to a big thumping V8 at the front, but in all honesty, I wouldn't shy away from one of these. Is it tight, precise, sharp? No, but that's not what an SL is supposed to be. It feels wafty and soft, and it feels almost as if you're rolling into a corner. But that's what I want when I jump into something like this. I want to be able to drive all the way to Monaco and feel like I've been on a magic carpet ride the whole time. It really does swallow up the bumps and imperfections in the road very, very comfortably. Paired with these really nice seats, the ride is nothing short of sublime. At slow speeds in and around town, it's actually a very comfortable and livable car. If I was blindfolded, I certainly wouldn't think I was in a Mercedes SL from the 1980s. Steering has a really nice feel to it. It's not too heavy. It's really well balanced and nicely weighted. And it's just a very comfortable car to use. But just because it is a big, cumbersome, heavy old roadster, don't think it's a slouch, because it really isn't. Even with this, the smallest 2.8 litre six-cylinder engine, if I put my foot down, it will get up and go. Obviously, you're not going to be winning any street races, but I think you might surprise a few people. Should I need a car for a continental road trip, an R107 would be a serious candidate, and having spent some time with this car, I wouldn't overlook a 280 SL either. I really don't find myself missing that V8 power like I thought I would. This 280 is something of an underdog, and I can see why the 300 SL, the step up and the biggest of the six cylinders, has garnered so much popularity in recent years. But I think this, the 280, probably isn't too far off the mark and will be shooting up in no time. So, the R107 generation Mercedes SL, what do I think? Well, they are sublime things. Spend any amount of time with one and you'll quickly learn why these are becoming more of a regular sight on our roads again. They make very good, usable, classic daily drivers. They are reliable, economical, pretty cheap to run overall, but are still very well styled and have a lovely classic cool factor. These are quickly becoming cult classics in their own right. Values are increasing astronomically almost by the hour, so I implore you to get into an R107 now if you're considering it, before they become unobtainium like the previous generation Pagoda, which are now fetching well into six figures for certain examples. My key things to look for: rust. The bulkheads like to go on these, as do the floors and sills, all the usual places to an extent, but the later 80s cars will have been galvanised. If you find one that's been well looked after, it will look after you. This particular car is on 165,000 miles and it still feels fresh. These are famed for doing very high miles. My other piece of advice: don't overlook the six cylinders. This 280 SL is still a wonderful car to drive, has a good level of power and that classic styling, but is a much cheaper car to buy at the moment. Obviously, everyone wants a big thumping V8, but in the real world, this 2.8 litre or even the bigger 3 litre 300 SL is a very, very good buy in my opinion. Something of an underdog. Thank you very much for watching the video review of this R107 Generation 280 SL. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and remember, if you like this sort of thing, please check out our other video reviews. And if you have a classic car to sell, please get in touch with us at classiccarbuyer.co.uk. We'd love to hear from you. Bye bye.